one of the challenges that many of these youth innovators in Kenya face, and I would say young scientists in general, is breaking into narrative norms about this is what innovation is. Actually, you're not doing that. How can you be a scientist in, rural Kenya if you're not, in Nairobi, in front of a computer doing all these things? And I wanted to ask you, Neil, as a science communicator, what wisdom do you have for youth to break into these dominant frameworks and to shift and to create ripples that can last?
Yeah, I don't have a silver bullet there.
Sure.
But I do know that the more ambitious someone is, the more resolve they carry with them in their lives to navigate obstacles. Either climb over them, go around them, dig under them, dissolve them. And I can just give from my own life, my interest in the universe began at age 9 at a first visit to the Hayden Planetarium. And every time I looked up at night or looked through a telescope or through binoculars, I had like a fuel tank, an ambition fuel tank, that every time I did that, it added a little bit of fuel. And then if anything happened where, I grew up at a time where people of my skin color were not identified as anything other than athletes or entertainers. So for me to have ambitions outside of the expectations of society, to survive that required spending some of that fuel. And they say, oh, no, I said, I want to be in the physics club. Oh, why don't you join the basketball team? We can be, I need some fuel there just to get through these forces that are operating on me. And then it's time to go to college and, any force operating against me, this became a counterforce to overcome. And so I ask myself, having been through this, how many people who were ambitious ran out of fuel and they just did something else? So my goal, it's a implicit goal that I have when I'm educating people of any age, but especially if they're younger, I want to instill within them such a hunger for learning more and such an enthusiasm that if it clicks, nothing's going to stop them. And so so it's not creating a path for them, because I don't know what path I don't know what path might be necessary for one person versus another. Different people have their own challenges. It could be familial, it could be, whatever. Cultural, could be religious, it could be institutional, who knows? But once they're driven, they'll have the energy to navigate that. And so I've had kids come up to me and says, I saw this post you did on YouTube or whatever, and I'm reading all the books I can, and I'm seeing all the videos, and now I'm majoring in school, and there you go. That's the train in motion, okay, with momentum. And then it helped. Yes, we presume some advice from elders will say, if you go that way, it might be less successful than if you try this way. They'll need some of that.